officials are holding direct talks in Switzerland a week after both sides signed an initial agreement to end the war. We are grateful for your company. Let's settle for the details now.
Let's start from here. Police have arrested 6 suspects for the alleged role in a shooting incident at Kristo Asafo Church, which has left former Domkabinya MP Kristo Asafo with a gunshot injury. The incident is believed to be connected to who succeeds Ghanaian inventor and church leader Apostle Kristo Asafo, who died in September last year.
Action at the High Court seeking to block the installation of Israel Kristo Asafo, son of the late Apostle Kristo Asafo, as leader of the Kristo Asafo mission. Despite the writ being filed on Friday, June 19, the ceremony took place on Sunday, June 21, 2026. Sarah Joa Asafo, daughter of Apostle Kristo Asafo and former MP for the Domkabinya constituency, is said to have visited the place. It is unclear what caused the ensuing chaos, but eyewitnesses recount hearing multiple gunshots. The former legislator suffered a gunshot injury to her ear, causing her to require medical attention. Police say the matter is under investigation. Israel Kristo Asafo, who addressed the gathering after the ceremony, called for unity. If you are taking a shower and a madman picks up your cover cloth, you don't have to run after him, else you'll be seen as the mad one. I'll plead for unity, togetherness, and love. That is what was used to nurture the church. Let's remain together, but let's be vigilant. It's time for courage. I will support you. Support me and pray for me as well.
Well, the Ghana Police Service have been responding to the latest happenings concerning the family of Apostle Kristo Asafo Kantaka. And on your screen right now, you'd see the statement that the police service has released. It contains some of these things that, as we know, 6 people have been arrested and they are private security guards situated at the residence of Akofina around the Kwabenya area. Now, some weapons were recovered from the private security guards. Some weapons were recovered: 5 pump action guns, 1 pistol, 1 mm ammunition, 9 mm ammunition, as well as some communication equipment, believed to be equipment that the private security used to communicate and operate to protect the property there. Now, for the police, this is what they're saying, that a ceremony underway at the residence of Tamaklo Safo Jehoshaphat, alias Kofuna Palace. There was a ceremony underway when Asafo arrived, but was denied entry. Now, armed security personnel allegedly discharged firearms. Asafo was injured. The vehicle found with multiple gunshot marks, and that vehicle is believed to be what Asafo brought to the residence of Tamaklo Jehoshaphat. Now, according to the police, suspects and exhibits have been transferred to the police headquarters, and as we speak, investigations have begun. Investigations are ongoing, and the police also are telling us that efforts are underway to locate and arrest all other persons connected with the incident, seeking to say that beyond the 6 people who have been arrested, and some recoveries have been made, some ammunitions have been recovered, some guns have been recovered amongst others, as well as communication equipment. Some other, as investigations go on, some other arrests may happen. That's what we know from the statement of the Ghana Police Service. Now, let's bring you some context in relation to what has happened today and what everybody's talking about right now. So this is in relation to a certain dispute, that a leadership dispute for the Kristo Asafo mission, following the passing of the leader and the founder of the organization. Now, the context is that founder and leader Apostle Kristo Asafo passed away in September 2025 last year. After that happened, in June 19, 2026, a court action was instituted and a case was filed at the High Court of Justice in Accra. Let's look at the details of the case. Now, the plaintiffs for this case that was filed at the High Court: Kwekwa Jenimboat is a former Deputy General Secretary, and Seth Apia Richard Brown is a 40-year member of the church and former Executive Assistant to the founder. And these, the names we're seeing here, they are people belonging to the Kristo Asafo mission. So the general secretary is the general secretary of the church. The defendants in the case that is at the court, the first defendant is Kristo Asafo Mission of Ghana, the institution itself. And then there is Israel Kojo Safo, Nana Kojo Safo Akofena, and 3 others. These are 2 defendants in relation to the suit at the court. Let's move on and see the others. The defendants also, we've gone through them already. Nana Kojo Safo Akofena is not qualified to lead the church under its 2017 and 2024 constitution. So the organization, I'm talking about the Kristo Asafo Mission, they have a constitution that guards or guides the way they operate. According to the plaintiffs, Nana Kojo Safo Akofena is not qualified to lead the church under the church's constitution, 2017 and 2024 constitution. Therefore, they are seeking this relief, that the court they're asking the court to stop the installation of a new leader and enforce the church's constitution on succession. So they're saying that there's a plan, a roadmap of succession by the Kristo Asafo Mission, and the court should enforce it. Now, this is what we know concerning today's incident. The church says Sarah Asafo drove her vehicle into the entrance gates at church property in Kwabenya. This is coming from the church. Now, vehicles struck 2 metallic gates, causing substantial damage to both structures. Worshippers and invited guests were present while all of this was happening, and the church says lives could have been endangered as a result of what happened when Sarah Asafo, according to the statement of the church, when she drove a vehicle into the entrance gate at the church property in Kwabenya. This is what we know so far concerning the incident. We know the context where it is coming from and where we've gotten to. The latest is that police is investigating what has happened, and security personnel intervened as a result of what Sarah Asafo did when she drove a vehicle into the gates. Police personnel intervened to prevent further escalation and protect attendees, and that is when the shooting happened. Now, the church is denying reports that Sarah Asafo was shot by her brother during the incident. Do you remember that since the incident happened, there are reports that Sarah's brother had pulled a gun on Sarah Asafo, but the church is saying that nothing like that happened and no such shooting occurred. Church calls allegations false and misleading, and the church is therefore calling for a probe and urging authorities to conduct a thorough and impartial investigation into the incident.
Right, so now we've heard from the police, we've heard from the church, and also we've given you the context of what's been happening in the court. Safo Kantanka is lawyer for the Kristo Asafo Church. He joins us for a conversation on this developing story. Grateful for your time this evening. As legal representative of the church, do you consider the event that occurred today to replace the late Apostle Kojo Safo legitimate?
I didn't get it. The line was breaking. I didn't get the question.
I'm asking that do you consider the event that occurred today to replace the late Apostle Kojo Safo as legitimate?
I'm finding it difficult. The background noise. You can repeat it.
Hello, can you hear me now, sir?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Do you consider today's event legitimate, the replacement of the late Apostle Kojo Safo?
Oh, yes. As far as the church constitution is concerned, we saw it as legitimate.
Right, but there's a matter in court that's yet to be concluded. What's the big deal? Couldn't you have waited for that matter to be concluded before this event took place?
Yes, we have. Yes, it's true. We have cited such court documents circulating, but then as we speak, we haven't been served. As your reportage indicated, the purported document was filed on 19th at exactly 11 a.m. And as we speak, I've contacted most of those people who I saw were on the court process, but none of them indicated that he or she has been served. So we haven't been served with any court process.
None of the defendants, you mean, have been served?
None of them has been served, yes.
But it has come to your attention, though, that there is such a matter in court.
Yes, such a matter in court is circulating online. But as a lawyer for the church, usually when we get such processes, they will just bring it to me. And I can't just, somebody who hasn't been served, I can't just take a document and then just act on it.
Well noted,
so that's a challenge.
But beyond the legal matter, this is a family matter and a matter that concerns a mission that a lot of people belong to. Couldn't there have been a resolution even outside court? Because clearly there were grievances that there are grievances that need to be addressed. Did the church and the parties involved attempt a resolution prior to this court case we see circulating, as you put it?
Yes, if you should have a critical look at our constitution indicates that when you have a dispute, there are bodies in the church who see to the resolution of those disputes. And there are, I think, two major bodies in the church. We have the National Dispute Resolution Board, which is currently currently constituted. So when there's any dispute, any aggrieved member can take up the dispute resolution aspect and then maybe appear before the dispute resolution board. The dispute resolution board, I contacted them. Nobody has ever appeared before them in respect of any issue the person has or something. So
right.
They haven't also been approached.
Right. In your statement, you did mention that there was no shooting incident at all, but the police statement does corroborate the narrative we have heard that there was indeed some shooting. How do you reconcile that?
Yes, let me put this on record. Actually, I wasn't at the event, at the ceremony. So after I heard there was some skirmishes or incident, I rushed there. I spoke to people who were on grounds. I also visited the grounds, the location of the incident and all that. So when I went, I also picked up some information. So based on that is what I am relaying to the public. What I was told was that yes, Honorable Asafo, after the program, after the introduction and all, they had a very big bang at the southern gate. So when they had it once, twice, so some of the security guys approached the southern gate and they got to know that it was a car which was banging at the metallic gate. So they were very much surprised. And according to the report I got on ground was that Honorable Asafo pulled a gun and then gave a shot from outside the wall. So she again drove to the other side. When she couldn't penetrate through the gate, she drove on the other side of the gate and then repeated the same thing. She banged the metallic gates once, twice, and now it was getting scarier. So the private security guards also saw that since she was armed, and let me take a clear picture. The incident with the ceremony was taking place at the northern gate, where she went after the southern gate, and there were tents over there. People were seated under. So had it not been the strength of the metallic gate, if she had run over or through the gate, there would be casualties because people were seated there. But because of the strength of metallic gates, yes, she couldn't penetrate through. So the private security also saw that yes, since she was armed, they should also maybe prevent her from further escalating with that conduct. So they also put the gun and gave warning shots. And that's what I was told on ground. They gave warning shots. So the communique is differentiating between the warning shot and the actual shooting, which is circulating. Which is a source from the circulation, the information out there that she was shot. Yes, that one I can confirm that those who were there and the security guards, none of them gave that shot to her. They were giving, all they were doing were warning shots.
Right.
Until she drove off. She drove off herself.
So that's your account, but the police has given us another account. Let me just ask you, these 6 persons who've been picked up by the police, do you know them as people who offer private security to the mission and the church?
Which people?
The police says it has picked up 6 persons in relation to this. You know them?
They are members of our church, and they are also the private security of the founder when he was alive. They guard his residence and all the residences he had. So they are members of the church, and they are also private security. And from the indication that I had with the officers, their guns are licensed, the renewal, everything is fine.
Right.
The documentation, everything.
Quickly, we're wrapping up the conversation, but where the event occurred, you term it as a property of the church,
Yes.
but in the police statement, it belongs to one Akofena, Jehoshaphat, Safo.
No, that's not correct. Jehoshaphat is one of those 6 people. Jehoshaphat is not, the alias of Jehoshaphat is not Kofena. Jehoshaphat Safo Tamaklo is one of the 6 people arrested.
So whose property was that, where the event was happening?
The property is owned by the church.
Right. But you say you were not...
But then it's a residence of Akofena.
And who is Akofena?
The newly appointed leader.
All right. And this event was to make him the new leader of the mission, but as a lawyer of the church, you were not in attendance. But you consider it legitimate.
Yeah.
Right.
Come again, please.
I'm just asking, you were not in attendance at this particular event, but you consider it a legitimate one.
Yes, we consider it because we haven't, as I indicated, we haven't been served with any court processes. The case hasn't been served with any court processes. The other defendants who hasn't been served, and now since no one has been served, they were the Council of Elders. The Council of Elders are the constitutionally appointed body to appoint the next leader. The leader is...
We appreciate all that.
Duty.
We appreciate all that. So will the funeral happen as planned? We understand that the funeral is supposed to be happening this weekend. Will it happen as planned?
Hello?
All right. I think that there seems to be a challenge with that line.
There's a feedback. I can get some feedback.
I was just asking you to confirm if the funeral of the late Apostle Kojo Asafo Kantanka will happen this weekend.
This weekend, as for the 25th date, I doubt the 25th will happen. Because even that one, there's also another challenge with that one. There was a 25th date, and there was also a highly marketed date of 30th. And that one is also an issue the church, not the church per se, the family and then the children are contending with. That one has got nothing to do with the church. It's the family and then the children.
Grateful for your time this evening, sir. That's a lawyer of the Kristo Asafo mission. And if you're just joining us, we're just getting details of that incident that occurred today at an event to select a new leader of the mission after the late Apostle Kojo Asafo Kantanka passed sometime last year.
To some other stories tonight, the people of Samreboi in the Amenfi West municipality of the Western region, they have been left in a state of shock. What began as a heavy downpour on Monday, June 15, has become a catastrophe of staggering proportions. The Samre and Tano rivers, once the lifeblood of this community, it burst their banks, and the people are asking one question: who is responsible? Our correspondent Irama Smith was at the scene, and she brings us their answers and their grief.
This is Samreboi today. What you are witnessing is not just flooding, it is a full-blown disaster. More than 200 houses at Aboy, Kokwase and Popolozo in Soichi Roman Hill have been swallowed by floodwaters. 26 buildings have collapsed entirely. Thousands of residents have fled their homes, carrying children on their backs, wading through waist-deep water. 2 lives have been lost so far, a 17-year-old and a child of just 1 year and 2 months. At the time of our visit, the rain was still falling heavily. Our cameras captured these little ones seeking refuge under a table, while the adults sat under a canopy, waiting, praying, and hoping. How did this happen? The residents of Samreboi have a clear answer, and it is written in the scars of their land. First, and by far the largest contributor, is illegal mining, galamsey. For years, excavators have clawed at the riverbanks, stripping the land of its protection. The Sama and Tano rivers have been silted, their channels narrowed, their capacity to hold water destroyed. Secondly, buildings constructed directly in waterways, unauthorized structures blocking the natural flow of water. When the rains came, the water had nowhere to go but into their homes. And thirdly, the dumping of refuse and plastic materials, clogged drains, blocked gutters, a community drowning in its own waste.
The Galamsey activities on the River Tano must be curtailed. And if it has to be done, of course, government will always take the lead, but the people themselves must also be part of the solution. It's become a norm that when things happen in communities, people look on unconcerned. They don't talk, they don't speak about it, they don't speak against it. Many of you here, growing up, you saw how the Tano used to be, the way the Tano was. We used to go into it fishing, we used to travel on it. I mean, all the benefit that we used to get. Today, this same river has been diverted at some point. And so you go there, portions of it are silted. You cannot even put a canoe on it. And so when it rains, this is what will happen.
Schools and churches have been converted into shelters. Families huddle together on cold floors without bedding, without food, without clothing. Children, the elderly, nursing mothers, the most vulnerable among them, now rely on the generosity of neighbors and what little relief has arrived.
We've never witnessed such incidents before. This is our first time. So we are pleading to the government to come to our aid. It's not easy. It's not easy at all.
According to the Western Regional NADMO Director, Daniel Darlington Atito, so far, some 1,252 individuals have been affected, with 26 houses collapsed.
What we have seen here is very terrible. But in terms of statistics, as in how many buildings has been affected in the community, is 26. And then when you come to the life of the people who are also been affected, is 1,252.
Western Regional Minister Joseph Nelson, who was accompanied by the Western Central Regional Police Commander, the Western Regional NADMO Director, and the Amenfi West Municipal Security Council, outlined long-term measures to help curb the situation going forward.
We are also looking at an alternative elsewhere where some facilities can be added to it, i.e. toilet facility and some other things, so that their lives could be, better than they have here. Because we have to also bear in mind that if we don't provide such facilities, there's the danger that there will be an outbreak of, cholera because of, the rains.
As the waters slowly recede, one question remains. Will this tragedy finally force Ghana to confront the monster that is Galamsey, or will we wait for the next flood? Irama Smith, TV3 News, Samreboi, Western Region.
The rainy season, often welcomed for replenishing water sources and supporting agriculture, is also exposing a growing public health concern across Ghana. The season is beginning to take a toll on public health, with health facilities across the country recording an increase in illnesses linked to contaminated water, poor sanitation and flooding. Here's a report by Sarah Apenkro.
Health officials had earlier warned that heavy rains could lead to a rise in waterborne and vector-borne diseases, including diarrhea, cholera, typhoid, and malaria. While no major outbreaks have been confirmed yet, clinicians say the pattern of cases being reported is a cause for concern. A visit to the Shayo Sudoko District Hospital in Dodowa revealed a busy outpatient department, with healthcare workers reporting a growing number of patients presenting with symptoms associated with the raining season.
So they come with diarrhea, some come with vomiting in addition to the diarrhea. They may have abdominal cramps and then they have other symptoms as well. So We are seeing them at the OPD, and some come in bad states, so they have to be seen at the emergency, where they have passed several stools, they are vomiting, they are very weak, they are dehydrated. And it cuts across all age groups. So if feces get into water bodies, as can happen when you have flooding of this sort that is going into wells and all kinds of water bodies, and these are the same sources of water for some of our folks, then you have the organisms being transmitted when you take in these water.
According to health professionals, flooding often contaminates water sources and disrupts sanitation systems, creating conditions for the spread of disease.
These diarrheal illnesses are usually preventable. So you need to get good sources of water, safe water sources. So as it stands now, because of the flooding, there may be a lot of boreholes that are contaminated. So it's also important as a people to have ways to dispose of our waste regularly and not to throw them, into gutters. So we need, as a people, to be conscious of how we dispose of our waste. And we'd also urge authorities to help us in this regard, to enforce strict sanitation laws.
The challenge is not limited to health facilities. In many communities, poor sanitation practices continue to heighten the risk of disease transmission during the raining season. Residents of Busu and Noho in the Greater Accra region facing persistent sanitation challenges say they are aware of the health risks associated with poor waste disposal and stagnant water. However, they say they are constrained by inadequate infrastructure and limited waste management services.
All the time I will complain, especially ekoji wo gata se ni obi eneneke. Bona I connect waste ke wo gata se mi pi ni kenyum bo ne den chagbeli o ke wo gata se mi. This is not the first time ni you oneke sande ne.
We complain all the time, especially about the gutters. People have connected fecal matter waste into them. The refuse waste are also dumped by the roadside by the refuse collectors.
Ona ni kenyum bo ne an kwale bi e flood o shift bi e flood yen lebe serious ye bi ene. Ona she who knows keji bi ene flood ni ko electric e check from ya lo no ko.
In this community, fine, previously we were not having flood issues here, but at a point in time, we started getting these flood issues.
This is our era. I can tell you people to let AMA do have to allow people to come around and check the area very well. Because if we talk, it will not hold. They'll even insult you.
Health officials are therefore urging the public to drink safe water, maintain proper hygiene, clear choked drains, and seek early medical attention when symptoms occur.
The raining season is not only a test for emergency preparedness, but also a reminder that access to clean water and proper sanitation is the only defense against preventable diseases. Sarah Apenkro, TV3 News, Accra.
You're watching News 360 Live, also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. We have more stories for you. We're back with more after this break. laughter and gratitude. It unfolded this weekend as families gathered to honor the kings of their households. The Groove Esipon Beach Resort, in partnership with Connect 97.1 FM, they turned Father's Day into an unforgettable celebration of fatherhood and mentorship. Our reporter Abraham Mensah was there and brings us the heartwarming story. Is it paid
Scenic
for?
Grove Esipon Beach Resort, the air was filled with more than just ocean breeze. It was thick with appreciation. Dads, grandfathers, and father figures were treated like royalty as families poured in to spoil them with sumptuous meals and refreshing drinks, all against the backdrop of live music and coastal views. But beyond the food and fun, the day was about memories. At our microphone, celebrants opened their hearts, sharing what they hold most dear about the men in their lives.
I remember when I was growing up, it was daddy all throughout. Daddy, even if I was crying, people used to cry, mommy, mommy, mommy. And for me, it's been daddy, daddy, daddy. It's been all there. It's been an ever-present daddy through my growing up, taking us to the hospital, taking us to school, attending our PTA meetings, at our weddings, our parties, encouraging us through life. He's been
Well, head pastor of the International Central Gospel Church Restoration Temple in Osu, Reverend Ashford Terrier Smith, says fatherhood is a call to responsibility. He's been urging fathers not to be deterred by the seeming lack of appreciation. He's also encouraged them to prioritize their mental health and seek assistance where necessary.
As fathers, we all look up to ultimately to our Heavenly Father. He's a perfect example we can get. He's a father that shows us love, in fact, care, wisdom, discipline, faithfulness at home. He's our Heavenly Father. And so as human as we are also expected as fathers to also show love, care, provide, protect for our children. And that is what I'm saying, that these three things I've mentioned, protection, provision, and sheltering your children, educating them, they are serious business. That if you are a serious father, you should know that these things are not joke. And so fathers, on this occasion of Fathers Day, I entreat all fathers to be very hardworking and know that to be a father is a great responsibility, as our Heavenly Father also has great responsibility towards us.
And of course, happy Father's Day to all fathers and potential fathers out there. To some other stories, altercations between firefighters and civilians over quick response to fire incidents and operational efficiency has dominated headlines for many weeks. But what really goes into firefighting and what misconceptions about the job may be fueling this mistrust? My colleague Nura Mohammed, she spent a day taking us into the world of Ghana's firefighters in this special report.
Fire, water, earth, air. For centuries, these four elements have shaped our world, and standing at the intersection of all four are the men and women of the Ghana National Fire Service. Firefighters are often amongst the first people called when disaster strikes. Yet in recent months, some firefighters in Ghana have found themselves battling more than flames. At several fire scenes, tensions between firefighters and civilians have escalated into confrontations, raising questions about public understanding of emergency response operations. To better understand the realities of the job, I spent a day with firefighter Alex, following him from the start of his shift through the routines and responsibilities that prepare him and his colleagues for emergencies. The day begins long before any emergency call comes in. At the fire station, firefighters assemble for morning parade, receive briefings, and prepare themselves for whatever the day may bring. For Alex, every shift starts with one important task: preparation. Before a single fire call is received, every piece of equipment must be accounted for and inspected.
We don't go to our fire scenes without our tools, so we always do the first locker. this locker contains all the, they are one of the hoses. It contains the hoses that we use.
It is a routine repeated daily across fire stations nationwide. Then comes the waiting. For firefighters, an ordinary day can change in seconds. As we were still on tour, a call comes through. Information was gathered, the crew mobilized, and within moments, we were on the road.
Hello, this is fire service. Yeah.
While many members of the public only see the final moments of a firefighting operation, there are protocols that guide every response. The first priority upon arrival is assessing the situation. Firefighters determine the source of the fire, identify potential risks, establish safety zones, and evaluate whether anyone remains trapped. Only then does the firefighting operation begin.
So when we get to the scene, we do an assessment. So per the assessments that we do, we look at the strengths, the weaknesses, and the challenges that we'll be confronting at the fire scene. Firstly, we would ask if there's someone trapped in there. If there's someone trapped in there, our priority is to make sure that we're able to bring the person out safely. If there's no one trapped in there, the next thing is be able to know what is on fire or how the fire started. We don't just get to a fire scene and start pouring water on the fire. Mind you, water cannot quench every fire. There are some fires that would require the foam concentrate. There are some fires that would require ECG coming to the area to cut power supply to the area before we're able to start tackling the fire.
Just as firefighters follow protocols, civilians also have responsibilities during emergencies.
During the fire emergency, the affected person wants you, the emergency responder, to be able to help him or her within the shortest possible of time. And therefore, they are not ready to listen to you, especially when you are waiting, when you say you are waiting for ECG to isolate power. We also want the general public to also support us, one, by adhering to the various safety messages that we give, and then also make it a priority to safeguard your own life. Safety is a personal thing.
At the scene, some eyewitnesses interacted with Alex and his team, thanking them for their swift response, but also making some complaints. Another challenge lies beneath the streets. Fire hydrants, a critical source of water during emergencies, are sometimes inaccessible, faulty, or difficult to locate due to encroachment.
It has never been the case that we would deploy a fire engine without water. We don't practice that because we don't have a lot of faith in a hydrant system. Elsewhere, there are fire engines. If you go to North America or Europe, most of their fire engines do attend fires without water because they have robust functional fire hydrants. And therefore, they go empty, connect their hoses to their pump, and they fight the fire directly from the hydrant point.
An appeal was also made to the government for support.
It's very unfortunate that I'm sure even in your capacity, you've not heard, it's been a while you heard donations being made to the Ghana National Fire Service. It's very sad. When our prominent people are having their birthdays, they go and donate to our brothers, forgetting that we are also there. If we even get one of those pickups, we can be able to convert these pickups into road traffic coalition or rapid intervention vehicle so that whenever there's a distress, we'll be able to get there on time. So please, our rich men, when you are donating to our sister services, remember us.
I would also want to appeal to the corporate Ghana, individuals, and then philanthropists, in as much as we are a state institution, which has to be fully funded by the state. I mean, as we wait on government to retool us, to provide us with the state-of-the-art equipment, what can we do as corporate Ghana, as individual, as entities that has the Ghana National Fire Service at heart.
Despite these limitations, firefighters continue to answer every call. For Alex and his colleagues, the work goes beyond extinguishing flames. It is about protecting communities, often at personal risk. And while recent altercations between firefighters and civilians have made headlines, the solution may lie not in assigning blame, but in educating the masses.
No, I haven't changed careers, at least not yet. And thankfully, nobody has asked me to climb a ladder or put out a fire today, because that will be a different kind of emergency altogether. Firefighters say that their work is most effective when communities work with them and not against them. A few moments of cooperation can make the difference between a fire being contained and a disaster escalating. Firefighting is not a one-sided responsibility. It requires preparedness, public cooperation, government funding, and a shared understanding of the realities on the ground.
Nura Mohammed, TV3 News, Accra.
This is News 360. We're back with more stories after this break. Don't go away.
You dey sleep? Dance Madina.
Sentuntum say wunna ma deju me ma wonsa.
Efrema bema Daniel ba
ma wonsa. Sentuntum amwa sumuda ma wonsa.
That shall not fly. Having black mosquito.
It's time for sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alote. We begin with the Black Stars, who will return to action on Tuesday night. They will take on England in a crucial Group L clash 2026 FIFA World Cup. The match will be played at the Boston Stadium in Massachusetts ahead of the highly anticipated encounter. 3 Sports' Oreko Ampofo visited the stadium and brings us this report.
Is the Boston Stadium, popularly referred to as the Gillette Stadium by locals here. Now, this is the venue that would host the second 2026 World Cup group game for Ghana as they face England here on Tuesday, June 23. Now, it's going to be a really, really big game. But in terms of this venue, this is a bit of context and history attached to it. Now, it's located here in Foxborough, Massachusetts, and it's about 22 miles south of downtown Boston. Now, with regards to the history, it was built around 2002 and is one of the few stadiums here in the US that was built without any public funding. Now, this was built by Robert Kraft, who is the owner of the New England Patriots and then the New England Revolution. Now, if you're looking at the Patriots, they've won the Super Bowl for 6 times, and then there's the New England Revolution who play in the MLS as well. This is a 65,000 capacity stadium that the two teams have been playing at. Now, when it comes to the unique features of this stadium, you can't miss its significant feature, which is a 218-foot lighthouse, which is built over the North Stand. Now, this takes a similar inspiration from the lighthouse at the New England Revolution. For this World Cup, it will be referred to as the Boston Stadium, not the Gillette Stadium, in line with FIFA commercial rights. By the end of the tournament, this stadium would have hosted 7 games. So far, it's done 3. We saw Haiti face Scotland here, with Scotland winning that match by 1-0. And then Erling Haaland led Norway as they thumped Iraq here at the stadium. And just on Friday evening, Morocco got their first win of the 2026 FIFA World Cup right here when they beat Scotland. Up next, we're going to see the Black Stars in action, who themselves already have 3 points after beating Panama all the way in Toronto. Ore Kwampofo reporting from the Boston Stadium for 3 Sports.
Thank you, Oreku. Staying on the 2026 FIFA World Cup, Spain shook off their slow start to the tournament by thrashing Saudi Arabia 4-0 in Group H earlier this evening. Let's take a look at the highlights.
Straightforward.
That's how we wrap up sports here on News 360. I am Aniela Alute.
Africa is evolving. Businesses are
Now, US and Iranian officials have started direct talks in Switzerland. Now, they began direct talks in Switzerland after signing an initial agreement to end the war last week. The deal includes a commitment to reach a final agreement within 60 days, as well as end to fighting on all fronts, including in Lebanon, and the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. But more clashes between Israel and Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon prompted Iran to announce it had shut the shipping route on Saturday, though tracking data shows vessels have continued to pass through it.
Well, thank you so much for spending the last hour with us. But that's it for News 360. There's always more news on our website, 3news.com. I am Noble Crosby.
And I am Bernice Abubedulansa. Have a good evening.